International Women's Day was commemorated across the globe. For more than 100 years, the annual celebration has been a time to recognize the achievements of women and girls, highlight the challenges they still face, and call for further equality. This year's themes focused on inclusivity and economic empowerment. Maria Saru joins us now with a roundup of the events. Hi, Maria.
Hi, Emily. Women around the world rallied for their rights today. From Beirut to Berlin, thousands took to the streets to fight the good fight.
This year's International Women's Day was marked with marches, protests, and demonstrations. In Madrid, one group of demonstrators wore white gowns and masks and carried candles.
Around the world, women and girls continue to face rank discrimination and gross human rights violations and abuses. A persistent epidemic of gender-based violence disgraces humanity.
In Lebanon, demonstrators gathered in front of the United Nations Women's Office in support of Palestinians. This woman told Reuters, "We are here today to support the Palestinian woman. She is now living through war, violence, and pain." The Palestinian Ministry of Health in Gaza said today that at least 9,000 women have been killed since October 7.
From the Middle East to Haiti, Sudan, Myanmar, the Sahel, Ukraine, Afghanistan, and elsewhere in the world, women pay the biggest price of conflicts.
Cities across Italy saw thousands of protesters criticize what they call patriarchal violence. And in Ireland, Prime Minister Leo Varadkar cast his vote to remove what he called sexist references to the role of women in the country's constitution. The referendum, deliberately being held today, asked Irish voters whether language around the importance of women's life within the home should be replaced. Also on the table is a potential change to the definition of family.
In the family referendum, to expand the definition of family, that will probably pass with a yes vote.
Thousands in Berlin danced and sang in the streets of Germany's capital, enjoying the public holiday. One woman held up a placard that said, "Girls just want to have fundamental human rights." The country's foreign minister delivered a speech saying feminist foreign policy pays off for everyone.
For International Women's Day, I asked my colleagues around the world how feminist foreign policy strengthens their countries. I'm fighting for women's rights also because real equality would increase the global economic power by $28 trillion.
This year's International Women's Day campaign theme is Inspire Inclusion, a call to promote women's economic empowerment and develop diversity in leadership positions.
There's some mixed realities. It depends who you are. For young women, the employment rate is below the pre-COVID average of 60%. That means that it's been the lowest in 20 years. And we see that even though women are shifting into better paying and higher jobs in the corporate ladder, that they're less likely to be in leadership positions.
While women's representation in the corporate pipeline has seen modest gains, women of color remain underrepresented. About 1 in 10 women executives are racialized, according to a Stats Canada report from 2021.
The data tells us that there's discrimination happening, period. That there is bias playing into it. It might happen at the recruitment period. It might actually also happen along the way.
One of the women I spoke with today mentioned the concept of leaky pipelines. Women of color can be deterred from rising through the ranks if they're not valued or heard. It's another reminder that the fight for gender equality is far from over.